5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
From the most infected city in America, New York, it's Alex Bennett and the Ramble, and we go until midnight Eastern Daylight Time. Ladies and gentlemen, there she is. Here we go once again, every 2 weeks, with the ex-wife, with the proprietor of TimeGoesBy.net, Ronnie Bennett. Hello, Ronnie.
Good morning. Good morning.
And we should sing happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ronnie. Happy birthday to you. But I have to do it a second time. Happy because I'm washing my hands at the same time. Happy birthday to you.
Stop. Please don't. Please don't.
You're supposed to. That's the thing. You're supposed to sing it twice. And while
That's
you're
20
watching,
minutes approximately. Yes.
Yeah, 20. Yeah.
There's some place online I ran into that has a whole list of other songs we would all know if you get tired of Happy Birthday, which I'm pretty tired of.
Yeah. Well, Inagata Davida is not one of them because that goes on for
Beautiful.
forever. So how you doing? You weren't feeling so well last time we talked.
I'm okay.
Did you get better?
Well, no. I mean, 2 weeks ago I was really sick.
So how you doing? You weren't feeling
and I had
so
a fever
well last time.
and body pains and stuff, sick. And I talked with I don't know if I'd talked to the doctor when we spoke, but I spoke on the phone with them. And I had some trouble breathing. I was using oxygen at home. So, that kind of scares you a little.
A little bit. I would say that's concerning.
Pardon me?
I would say that's concerning.
Yes. But the doctor said that he didn't think it was, but if my breathing got any more difficult, to call 911 and go to the emergency room. Well, let me tell you, that'll get you well really soon. Nobody wants to go to an emergency room. And, I was 2.5 days of really, really sick in bed. And then it started to get better, and I'm much better now.
So
I'm well.
Maybe
and
it
the
was.
doctor just thought that it was. He said, at any given moment, there are tons of other bugs we don't know anything about that people get all the time, cause runny noses or a little bit of flu and that sort of thing.
Right.
And he doesn't believe it was corona. And, according to what everybody's telling us, I don't think with my lungs, I could live through corona. So it must have been something else.
Yeah. Well, in any event, you're better now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
We're sitting here in the middle of the most infected city in America, New York, and it's just, it's strange. To begin with, at night, it's unearthly quiet. Mm-hmm. It's just, you could hear a pin drop.
Do you go out and take part in the applauding at 7 p.m.?
No.
Why?
Well, I didn't know there was applauding at 7 p.m.
In New York City, yes, to applaud all the healthcare workers and other people that are helping.
I hadn't heard about that.
Oh, it's all over the internet. Well,
maybe it's over the internet, but it ain't happen. I don't hear it happening here at 7 o'clock. I don't hear applauding outside. But you could hear a pin drop, and up until a few nights ago, the only predominant sound you heard were constant sirens.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that.
Yeah, and in the last couple of, like last night, I've noticed an absence of sirens. So that's my sign that things are maybe getting a little better. But
except that New York had more deaths in the past 24 hours than they ever have before.
Well, they say that's because all the people that had been on ventilators for more than the time that you can stay on a ventilator had finally gone and died. And so what that peak was maybe something that happened several weeks ago when we first put them on the ventilators, and that was the result now. So that they think that's the reason why. It's not that things have gotten worse, it's just we've reached this peak. So who knows, but it's starting to drive me a little batty. I'm getting
Hey,
stir crazy.
I'm with the people who say things like, um, the Blitz went on in London for several months, and people every night were down in the subways or the other underground,
Hmm.
and they did it. And this one is really kind of grabs at your heart. Anne Frank lived in a closet for 2 years. I don't have any right to complain about anything.
No, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I have an apartment that's 2,500 square feet, and if you're going to get cabin fever, it's going to be very large cabin fever. But still, after what, 4 weeks of not going out, I went out twice, and that was very quickly. But 4 weeks of that already, and you start getting squirrely. You start getting a little weird. And
I don't.
I feel sorry for people who only have, like, a studio apartment and have to be stuck inside that studio apartment. It's like it means may as well put an ankle bracelet on yourself. It's like being in a cell. Um,
Alex,
yeah.
you're not in an ICU.
Well, no, no. We can always say things could be worse, but what I'm saying is things as they are for us here in New York. I mean, everybody's living in fear. Everybody's living with not
It's
going
not.
out and not having social contacts. I mean, there are a whole bunch of elements that we are faced with here in New York that we're not usually used to being faced with.
Alex, it's not New York. It's everywhere. And the world
I
is
gotta tell you,
everywhere.
I disagree with you. Here in New York, it is worse than it is anywhere else.
To be home?
No, the situation.
I guess I'm confused. I thought you were talking about not liking being
Oh
home.
no, no, that's listen. I'm staying home for a couple of reasons. Number one, my age, and what might be compromising conditions, as you would probably feel the same way. And also because I feel a certain sense of patriotism not to go outside.
Patriotism?
Yes, because I'm helping my fellow man, by not going out, by maintaining my distance, by doing what our governor says we should do. I think anybody, I have one guy I know who has a business he has a carpet business, and he's still laying carpet in California. And I'm going, why are you doing that? And he says, well, I'm not sick. I don't have a temperature. And I said, you could be asymptomatic and be passing it on to other people. The job one is to stay as far away from other people, outside of people who already live in your home, like my case, Marjorie. And it's our duty to help nip this thing, because this social distance is starting to show a positive effect, at least here in New York. But we've been hit with it on an epic scale. I mean, compared to any other city in the United States, we're 10 times more than any other state in the United States. So it's scary, okay, at the very least. And for instance, I had to go have a CT scan. I had to have after a month after my seed implant, and they said, just come on up to Mount Sinai and blah, blah, blah. And I said, no way. I said, I'm not going to Mount Sinai. They said, okay, we can hold it off for 3 months. They said, well, can you go get a blood test? And I checked into it, and I said, yeah, I can walk down to one of these labs. It's in the neighborhood about 8 blocks away. And I said, I can probably keep distance. And then I wrote them back and said, I'm even frightened to do that. And they said, okay, wait a couple of weeks till this thing goes over to the other side. So I don't even want to go out for stuff like that, because I see going to a lab as being, or a hospital as not being the best places to go at this point.
Obviously not.
you know. So, I mean, it scared me enough, and I don't usually scare by this stuff. This stuff doesn't scare me usually.
You never had any stuff like this before. What are you talking about?
Uh, let's see here. Have we? No.
Not in your lifetime.
The only thing that was comparable to it in our lifetime didn't affect you or I, and that was AIDS. AIDS was pretty much, I would say, if you were gay, that was a pretty scary time to be living in, you know. So how's everything in Oregon? Oregon's actually sending us some ventilators, or was that
Yes.
why? Yes,
Yes.
because you don't seem to be having the problem that.
We're just later. I mean, no places. It's not that that you guys have it worse. You just got it first. I don't think that the condition that New York is in terms of numbers of cases and deaths, I don't think that. I mean, there's just the numbers because of the size of the city, but per capita, I don't know that it's not going to happen to every place. Other places are further behind. So, that right now we're not using those, and so the governor decided to ship them off to somewhere that could really, really use them. And since there's no central organization for the small number of ventilators and other things that are needed, the governors are working together, and I think they're doing the best they can. I mean, I think Cuomo's terrific. This was a terrific thing for our governor in Oregon to do, and it's happening with other governors. And I just think it kind of got the ball rolling of doing that kind of thing when she did that, when she announced it. I think it was Friday.
Yeah, well, Cuomo's idea was a very solid one, and that is, we need them, send them. When we no longer need them, we're going to send them to you, and then we'll send them to the next hot spot, and then they'll send it to the next hot spot. In other words, let's all work as a nation. Let's not work as 50 separate states who are all hoarding their ventilators that they might not need at this moment. So I think that was a very good plan. I think nothing our president would ever think of, but a good plan. Our president thinks you just can take a pill and solve the whole problem. A pill that will give people heart attacks. So, I think he's going to appoint himself Surgeon General at some point here.
Well, I try not to. I can't think last time he said anything that we needed to know in terms of the virus. He says he's been doing a lot of other things that I can't imagine how a president should have all the time that he has to be firing all these people. In the last 2 or 3 days, he's fired 5 or 6 people, it seems to me.
Yeah.
I mean, the press secretary who never held a press conference.
Right.
She's gone. Another inspector general is fired. He had something to do with firing the captain of that boat where there were so many sick sailors. How would you even have time to think about these things?
You would think that your entire concentration would be on this epidemic, And I also like the fact that he takes claim for things that he had nothing to do with, like the opening of the Jacob Javits Center as a hospital. That was Cuomo's doing. But he says, and we're sending all this, and we opened up there. He acts like it's him.
To be fair, he sent in, I think it's some military force. I don't know if it's the National Guard or Army or whomever, but medical people from the armed services.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that can't come from Cuomo. That has to come from a president.
Right.
So, there's so many things he could be, painted with a black brush. Let's not do the ones that he actually did wrong.
We should try and encourage him. Well, you know what they said, though, is the most terrible thing, is these governors feel they have to pay obedience to him in order to get anything out of him. They have to compliment him. If they say anything bad about him, they won't get the stuff they need.
Including Dr. Birx.
Yeah.
After she did that with him, I just don't listen to her anymore either.
Right.
I don't know what I can trust out of anybody's mouth anymore.
Well, I have a nickname for her, Scarfy. She's always wearing the scarf. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, that's like a guy who thinks a comb over is going to prevent people from thinking he's going bald. You know.
Well, no, I mean, women wear scarves. I mean, she just does it more than most women.
Yes, yes. But how do you feel about Fauci? I mean, he when I watch him, I think he just wants to burst out at some moment and just say, "Shut the hell up," but then he doesn't.
Well, none of us can get inside somebody else's head. Um, I think that was it yesterday or the day before that he wouldn't let Fauci answer a question
Yeah.
from and then attack the journalist who asked the question too. And yeah, Fauci tries. He tries really hard without being the ass kisser that some of the others are.
Yeah.
And I couldn't follow that. I couldn't do that successfully. He's done it quite successfully. I mean, I just would have lost it at some point. And he's just amazing that he somehow, he kind of just lets the president talk, and then he does, unless the president doesn't allow him to, and then he speaks his piece, whatever it is, even if it contradicts the president. And maybe Trump understands that Fauci has become so trusted in these past few weeks that it would be a major debacle for Trump if he fired Fauci from his team.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Fauci is the one person that everybody listens to. But it's like he does this tap dance, which I wouldn't be capable of doing because it would just drive me crazy. And that tap dance is like when Trump gets up and says, "These pills, I'm going to take one myself. Everybody should take these pills. The government just bought 92 million of these pills, right? The Chlora, whatever it is." And maybe it might work, but most people think that the evidence is anecdotal and there's no proof that it is a cure-all. And secondly,
it is essential for people. I've forgotten the other one,
lupus.
but there's another too besides lupus, and that because apparently because of Trump, doctors are prescribing this drug to all kinds of people, so that now there's a shortage. And there are people that the drug really works on their disease, like lupus,
right,
as you said.
Right. It not only works in the case of lupus, they have to take it on a rather continual basis.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here we've created another shortage.
And because he sits up there and says something which has no basis in fact, and even if he felt it were true, he should have kept his mouth shut till we knew the evidence was in.
There have been reports that I don't think are well corroborated yet this morning. This is Tuesday for people looking at this, that Trump is connected financially to a company that makes that drug.
Really?
I don't know if that's true. I've seen a couple of reports. I don't think they're corroborated yet.
Wow. If that were true, there's another impeachment for you. I mean, but it was just totally irresponsible on his part. And when he did it originally, they said it was irresponsible, and then he doubled up on it. I mean,
do you watch Cuomo?
Oh, every day. It's like our go-to show.
Yeah. Yeah. And I imagine, and it's not difficult to speak as he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. That he tells the truth, as difficult as some of the truths are, he tells them that way.
Yeah.
When I think today and yesterday, talked about maybe the curve is flattening a little bit in New York, but he also makes it clear that we don't know that yet. This could just be a one-day blip, and treats us as adults, which we are.
Yeah, and he acts like one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
He has gained. I was on the fence about him on a lot of things, but I got to tell you, this has sold me on him as a leader. I mean, he knows how to lead. He knows how to lead by example. He knows how to lead by doing what it takes to calm people down. I'm surprised. There was one person that handled a crisis like this pretty well, and that was Rudy Giuliani when we had 9/11. For whatever I think of Rudy Giuliani, he wrote the textbook on how you comport yourself while something like this is going on. Why Trump never went to him for, advice on how to handle this is beyond me, because he had the guy that wrote the book on it.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you remember
I don't have an answer.
You remember Giuliani getting up there every day, talking to the public, calming them down, saying what they were doing. You didn't feel he was lying to you. The same thing that Cuomo's doing now. And Cuomo is just, we look forward to it every day. And then I call the thing in the evening the Trump Comedy Hour.
I don't look at it.
He
hasn't said anything yet that made a difference in my life or understanding what's going on, so I don't see the point.
Yeah, well, he is the perfect example of, if you can't be sincere, at least fake it. And he's doing a bad job of faking it. He can't read a speech. He can't read what's on a piece of paper in front of him. I mean, how are we supposed to have any confidence in that? And then
nobody does, except his 40% of America, I guess 40+% that think he's doing a great job.
Yeah, but then also, I mean, he then goes out and lashes out at the press who's there. When somebody from the press starts asking a question, he immediately interrupts them before they can finish asking the question. Mm-hmm. I mean, he and then he talks about them being disrespectful to him. I mean, come on, you get what you give out. I mean, we're in a time like this. We need somebody better. We need somebody who can,
We don't have it. So it's, what's the phrase some people have used? They go to war with the army you have, not the army you wish you had.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I feel really let down by this president. I mean, it's fully what I expect out of him, but I feel let down by him. I imagine that at a time like this, he would somehow show something. And he's shown nothing but the worst kind of leadership you could have in this crisis. And I was thinking the other day, what would Obama have done in this situation? Would he have been able to handle this?
Well, the first thing you can know that is he wouldn't have held an election rally every afternoon.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't really. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to say, and I don't know how to say it politely, as I don't really care what Obama might have done. He's not here. I mean, he's not the president.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's that there are a lot of examples of presidents having behaved quite wonderfully in terrible circumstances in history.
Right.
And they're the obvious comparisons. Roosevelt in World War II, and
yeah.
I don't know. It's difficult. It's difficult.
Well, there are people who know how to lead a country in the time of crisis. FDR was a perfect example of one who could. Two crises. One was the Depression, followed by the war. Another case would be in England. Winston Churchill knew how to, by the mere force of his own personality, rally people and make them feel better and make them feel they had a common purpose. This president does none of that, and this is
what you're saying is very important. Is that we don't have any of those people, those historical ones that we're talking about, would have known what to say to us to make it okay to stay in even when we're chafing at having to do that.
Right.
And to keep reminding us and make us feel that we're contributing for doing that. I mean, one of the big problems I have is I have no way to contribute.
Yeah.
And I think, this morning there are headlines of grocery people dying. And I remember when I was in the grocery store, it's been a week ago now, last time, and I don't need to go for another week, that they weren't wearing masks. They had done a bunch of other things around the store, but I was concerned about them. I'm seeing them for 30 minutes. They're there all day with God knows how many people coming through,
Well,
I have to say that I was really, the people I know who work in my supermarket, we kept our 6 feet difference. We waved and said hi to each other and exchanged pleasantries and how is your family, that sort of thing. And then there was a point where I was standing on tiptoe trying to get something off the top shelf. And a woman come up who wanted something on the bottom shelf near me and leaned right into me. What are people thinking? I just don't.
What about social distancing? Don't you understand? Hey, you know what? We've run out of time. A lot to talk about here. So are you staying primarily indoors?
Not primarily, just yes.
Okay.
I mean, I've worked it out that I can go to the grocery store every couple of weeks. I wrote about it yesterday. I'm having an ice cream Jones now that we're getting sunshine outside. And I almost left the house to go buy some, which I would have done in the past.
Right.
And I thought, oh, wait a minute, lockdown. You got to stay home. And so, I'll wait.
Yeah, Marjorie gets up. She's gone to the market on a couple of occasions because she gets up early, so she goes at 7:00 in the morning when they open up. She made a big mistake on Monday. She went to it on Monday, and there was nothing on the shelves.
No, there's nothing there. You have to wait till later in the day and later in the week.
Yeah, right.
Because there haven't been deliveries, and there are haphazard deliveries as it is now. If you go, they set aside, this early 7 a.m. thing for old people.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't cooked the cooked chickens yet. They haven't put out the produce. They haven't put out the meat. There's nothing there you need. They haven't filled the dairy counter for milk and so on.
Hey, we better call this quits because I got to get to my citizen panel. But I want to thank you so much once again, and a happy, happy birthday.
Thank you.
This is number 79, right?
Yes, I never expected to be here.
Well, you're here, and you're still kicking, and you better, otherwise I'm going to be mad as hell.
Well,
Ladies and
we'll worry about that then.
Ladies and gentlemen, timegoesby.net is her blog, Ronnie Bennett. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Always a pleasure to have Ronnie with us, and I'm sure you enjoy her as much as I do. It's fun, and I do enjoy her more than when we were married. So, Anyway, let me go to the phones here. Let me turn them on. First of all, let me see here. This sometimes takes a while. For some reason, it doesn't pop up as fast. Oh, it popped up pretty fast this time. Okay, and I've got to change something here, folks. I have to sign out because I was using my other line for Ronnie. So let me just, here we go, and use another account, which would be GabNet Live. And the password is, well, I'm not going to tell you what that is. Let me see here. Are my fingers too pudgy to get that one out? No, I got it out okay. All right. We're now open for business, I think. We're open for business here. If you want to call, we'll be happy to take your call. And let me see here. Let me turn the thing on so it says active. There we go. and we're ready to go anytime you're ready to go and you're ready to call. Do so. Hope you're weathering the storm and aren't dying of cabin fever. Anyway, our lines are open and you can call. Well, some nights it's like I can't keep up with it, and other nights, oh well, here we go. Here's Jeff Zeller. And I believe Jeff is automatically takes up that bottom slot there because that's where he was the last time he called. Okay. Hello, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about
You doing
yourself?
good? Hey, Matt. Rob Alfano is calling. Let me. I think Rob was in there. I think maybe. Yep. We got him in there. Hello, Rob. How are you?
Good. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
You getting cabin fever yet, or?
Nah, I got a lot to keep me busy.
My eye's itching today. I'll tell you why. I just read this thing. This is going to be the worst season for allergies ever, they say. So everything else isn't so bad. We got problems with the allergies as well. So they're going to be popping in here next as the. And today, I mean, my eyes were burning, and I was, getting sniffly and everything. It was terrible. But none of the other symptoms. What?
I've had a sore throat for 2 weeks.
You've had a sore throat for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You don't think it's the virus, do you?
No.
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 Well, something you got to say to yourself: where have I been where I could get the virus?
I haven't been anywhere. In fact, today again, my car alerted me, better go start me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I haven't been anywhere. I haven't been to a store. I haven't been anywhere.
Yeah.
My throat is, it's allergies.
Oh, it absolutely. Especially where you live. Come on, you're like. Oh, wait a minute. Cancel here. Let me cancel that, and then let me do it again so I can get Charlie's picture in here. Charlie Wallace, Charles Wallace. Okay, there we go. We got Charles. All right, I'll do that. Okay. Hello, Charlie. How are you?
Pretty good, Alex.
Yeah. How are the allergies in your part of the woods?
Hopefully they're just allergies.
Hopefully they're just allergies. Now, what do you got in that box there, Rob? Is this going to be an unboxing like they do on the internet?
I just got this, and I forgot. I've been sitting up here marking in and out points on music to go into the computer for my new radio station.
Yeah.
Internet radio station, and I forgot I got this in the mail today. I looked over here, and it's a little distribution amplifier kind of patch bay thing, so that you can split the signal. And I haven't opened it yet.
Oh, and
so it's just
and there it is.
One input and a bunch of outputs.
See, ladies and gentlemen.
So I take the program out of here, of the board, and send it to tape machines and stuff like that.
Oh, good. Well, see, we had our first unboxing ever on this program. So, yeah, that's a very big thing on the internet. I think maybe I should start doing unboxing, but like order stuff from Amazon that nobody really cares whether you're unboxing it or not, like K-Cups. Here's K-Cups from Starbucks Plus, okay? But anyway, so you all feeling good? You all healthy? And
Well, I have it every day, at least for about 2 minutes.
What do you mean? What?
Well, I think maybe I got a headache.
Yeah.
Temperature.
Anytime.
We're all hypochondriacs.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that the battery in my thermometer is going to run out. I use it so often, And then when it goes up,
I'm really paranoid.
It's like 96.7, and then it goes up to 98, and I panic. And then
my cousin's got the virus, Alex. My cousin Joy.
Really?
Yeah, the fever finally broke yesterday.
How long?
So she's home.
How long did she have it?
She had it over 8 days. Pounding headaches. His headaches were terrible. My
Wow.
mom just got off the phone with my Aunt Barbara. She said, whatchamacallit, she said never had I talked to her, she said never felt like this in her life. Just didn't want to get off the couch. Nothing. She said the headaches were bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it,
it's just a hard
supposedly everybody is different. Some people get the headaches, other people don't get the headaches, but they get something else. You know who it's killing most of all? You know, the largest segment of our population who's dying from it are blacks.
Yep.
And unhealthy lifestyle, right, Charlie?
That's got to be it.
Well, no, I mean, you know, weight, diabetes,
Yeah.
all the things that blacks are plagued to, and I don't know
Sickle
why.
cell.
No, I don't think so.
They
But
mentioned it today.
did they
Sickle cell
really?
anemia. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, and somebody had put something up on the web saying that black people were immune. You
Oh,
know,
really?
yeah.
That was a rumor for a while.
It was scared of him. The virus is scared of him. Yeah, she really, Alex, because I was talking to her via Skype, and she's like, she says it's just totally knocks you on your edge. And she says you feel the pressure on your chest. It's like somebody's sitting on you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She says feel very tight.
yeah.
But her breathing, they gave her some kind of breathing thing to breathe in at home. She's been doing that constantly, but it finally, thank God, broke. But she's diabetic too, Alex. So she had a worry.
So yeah, she had something to worry
She's
about.
in her late 50s, yeah.
Well, they
So
say
we were a
that
little bit nervous.
they say that a lot of people are getting like heart attacks and so on. That the heart is what gives out. So I mean, you know, so people who have heart problems, look at our friend Jeff here. Although he doesn't have heart problems anymore because it's not a real one, right? No, it's
Do you go out at all, Jeff?
Yes, I do,
Oh, really?
but I'm very cautious.
Yeah.
And when anybody comes close to me, I walk to the other side of the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know something though? It's funny. You know, I usually about things like this, I just go, "Oh well, if I get the flu, I get the flu." Okay. And then I sit around bitching for 5 days while Marjorie tends to my needs. You know, and then we're okay. You know.
Yeah.
This one, I'm afraid to go out. I am just absolutely. And Marjorie goes to the store about twice a week, and she goes at 7 in the morning. But this week she made a big mistake. She went Monday morning at 7 and went in, and there was nothing on the shelves. That you should go during the middle of the week when they're replenishing the shelves. So, but and then there's here's the thing that really got to me. So, Marjorie, as you know, works for a company out of China. And so she has people in China, and they sent to her office 250 surgical masks. But of course, she can't get to them because she's not going to get in the car or anything to get down there. And so consequently, she asked them in Beijing if they would send her some. So they sent her some. So they send it to her, and the post office doesn't deliver it because they couldn't, there was nobody here to sign for it. What do you mean there was nobody here to sign for it?
Yeah.
But you can pick it up at the post office. Oh, yeah, like I'm going to that, you know, that
Yeah.
Petri dish. Okay? So
Don't tell me masks should be infected.
consequently, we have a bunch of masks, I don't know how many, that we were thinking if we got a lot of them, we were going to put a note up in our first floor of our building, say, if anybody needs surgical masks, we have them. You know, and you can have one of them until they run out, and we'll have a certain amount that we'll keep for ourselves. And the post office, because of the way they are, they're like, you know, they don't know that. And in fact, it even said on the thing that it was emergency something. You know, it said EMS or something on it. So apparently it had been marked that way so that it would get to us. And here the post office doesn't deliver it. I just demonetized myself with my hand. Now, what's interesting, I'll tell you an interesting story. I talked today, finally, to our next door neighbor whose wife died a few days ago. And we said, what happened? You know, because we assumed maybe it was corona, you know, that it could be the coronavirus. It turns out we asked him what it was. Wait a minute, let me just get Phil in here. Well, Phil's already there. Okay, Phil already had a space there. All right. Anyway, we thought it might be the coronavirus or whatever, and he said no. What happened was she had a knee replaced, and the knee became infected, and she died of sepsis.
The body was.
Yeah. Now, one of the reasons she died of sepsis was because she called a doctor and said, "Oh, my knee's killing me." He says he gave her some pain medication. Now, that was because he probably didn't want to
How to come in?
have her come in or have to go into his office or whatever. So she didn't die of the coronavirus, but she did die of the coronavirus.
God, because of it.
Yeah, because she couldn't get the proper medical care that she needed. But she didn't die of the coronavirus.
That's terrible.
They were married 40 years.
I mean, if she went to the doctor, she would be here today if they would have took her in.
Can't imagine being with somebody 40 years and then suddenly they're gone.
Over that too. That's like that could have been helped.
That
all the time.
What'd you say?
I said it happens all the time. People are married 40, 50 years, and one of them died.
Oh yeah, it happens. But
Yeah,
but she probably would still be alive, I think, if the coronavirus thing didn't exist. I mean, like kept saying to Marjorie, I keep complaining about like, oh, my hernia I think is acting up, or something else is bothering me. I may be getting a diverticulitis or whatever, because I worry about these things now. Because if I did have them, there's no way I could get them treated. I mean, they're too busy with the coronavirus patients, and I'm not going to Mount Sinai. You kidding me?
You can go to that ship.
What?
We're not the Hope.
Oh,
It's
they're bringing them on the ship now too. You can go on there.
There's somebody infected on that ship.
I cleaned it up. You know, they
No, one of the crew members.
really.
Yeah.
They tested the 5 people before they got on board, and they didn't have any symptoms. And the symptoms, I guess, developed after they got on board the ship, and then I think they're off now. But
What are you talking about?
So that one of the crew members on that ship that's docked in New York, when they left Virginia, obviously was infected because now he's quarantined on the ship.
wow.
Yeah, and the ship is now only for coronavirus patients.
Oh,
Well, you would think so now, right?
Yeah.
Since it's already infected.
Alex, if you get sick, you're going to have to go to the Javits Center.
Well, Javits Center is Javits Center only Corona too? I think it is. Yes.
Yes.
Not Bill Graham. Who's the preacher? Graham. Yeah. Yeah, the one that had the
Billy Graham.
the university. Anyway, his son.
Oral Roberts, you mean?
Yeah, no, not Roberts.
About Billy Graham or Franklin
Billy
Graham?
Graham.
Franklin Graham. That's it.
Franklin.
Set up a makeshift hospital in the park. I'm not Golden Gate. What the hell's the big park by you, Alex? Central Park. So you could go there, get a little religion, and get your arm fixed.
That's not Franklin Graham.
Yeah, it is.
I don't believe so.
Set up a big tent hospital. He's been doing them all over the world, and he just did one in Central Park.
Well, I know the one. It's right across from Mount Sinai.
Yeah, probably.
But
yeah.
I don't think that's him.
Yeah, it's Franklin Graham.
Is it?
See that Billy Graham's son?
Yeah.
Is it called Samaritan? Is that the name of the organization?
I don't remember. I think maybe. I'm not sure. But I heard him being interviewed, and that's what he was doing. Yeah, you can check it. You know, I mean, it was something that I heard on the news.
Let me see here. Central Park. I don't know what you would look it up for, but
Tent hospital.
Tents in Central Park. Let me see here. Raises Central Park Hospital tents for encampment. No, for Oh, that's something. Oh. NYPD raises Central Park Hospital tents for violating outdoor encampment laws.
No, that's not the.
Yes, no, it's a picture of those. They're called Samaritan.
Oh, really? I thought
Yeah.
it was being done
After
with the
bulldozers had demolished the provisional treatment centers, New York City police officials confirmed Friday they had raised the newly erected Central Park hospital tents, explaining that the structures, which housed coronavirus patients, violated outdoor encampment laws. It's illegal to set up housing in a public space like this without the proper permits.
Oh boy.
You can't go anywhere
So
nowadays.
everyone here must disperse immediately. But I saw yesterday somebody was there while they were taking people into it. So apparently that problem had resolved itself. Where's this story coming from? Oh, this is from The Onion. This is from The Onion. I'm sorry. It's a fake story.
But Franklin Graham is actually there, and he has a tent hospital.
Well,
I don't remember how many beds, but it was quite a few.
Franklin Graham. It's 250 beds.
All right.
Donate today. Graham, a privilege. Mount Sinai, Queens. Today we were grateful the partnership. I guess he is involved in doing that.
Yeah, I understood that the mayor and
Samaritan's
Cuomo,
Purse.
actually.
Samaritan's Purse is the organization that put up the tents. Yeah. Well, he's an asshole, but he did something nice. So you know.
It happens.
Go there if you break your arm. Unless you get the virus first, then you can go there if you break your arm.
Yeah, no, that's a virus place. That first story I read, it turns out it was The Onion. You know, damn The Onion.
Yeah.
Phil's the one supposed to read The Onion and believe it. You know.
Stuff.
See, I was right. No drink for you.
Yeah, no drink for me. You know what's terrible is actually people who do have other things wrong with them. Although it turns out that they said, why were there so few people at the ship? I think there were like 20 people there, and the governor said the reason is that the normal reasons that people wind up at these hospitals is not happening right now. You're not going to wind up getting hit by a car, because there are no cars, really not a lot of cars on the street. There's virtually crime is zero in New York City. Okay, so there's nobody in the hospital for that.
Have you heard about the automobile? I think it's Allstate, State Farm. Two companies are giving back a lot of money to their customers for insurance premiums because no one's driving. So they're giving, yes, Google it. They're giving back money. The insurance companies are giving back money.
Really?
What if somebody steals the car or does this or that,
Well, they're not paying out right now.
I would say if they're doing that, it's a good move on their part. Number one, it's a great PR thing. But secondly, and he is right, Phil, because less people are driving, there are going to be less accidents.
Yeah,
just
they're not
as
paying out right now.
General rule, even if there are accidents, whatever it's going to cost you, what are they charging less? Or are they just not charging anything to drivers?
They're giving back they are doing a calculation and giving back millions and millions of dollars. I think $800 million. I think I read. I don't remember the number.
Okay.
You
Take
sure
a look
at that from The Onion?
No. All right, let me look up the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. What's happening here, it's something I've noticed over the last couple of nights. I've told you, and Tony can bear me out on this, and of course I can't have Jeff bear me out on it because he lives in Connecticut and it's quiet all the time. But have you noticed how quiet it has been, Tony, outside?
You're right.
You could hear
what I did?
drop.
Exactly what you said. Only the ambulance.
Yeah. No, but the predominant sound you hear
they wake me up.
are the sirens.
Yep.
And
They woke me up
now,
the other night.
in the last couple of nights, I've heard very few sirens.
I heard one last night. I think it was 1:30. And once I get up, I can't go back to sleep. So
Tony complained to me that there was a Muslim guy out in front of his house.
Oh yeah, there was a crazy guy in front of my house Sunday morning.
And he called
John Stephanopoulos.
Called the cops.
Yeah, I'm like, my mother's sleeping. I'm in the front. I'm watching George, and I hear some guy chanting. I was like, this doesn't sound normal, I said. And then I walk to the front window because I'm upstairs, and he's going, oh, and then he takes out his liquor. He's boozing it up. He's all dolled up, looking like in another country. And I didn't know, so I had to call the cops because my brother and his girlfriend were leaving. So I said, Greg, I says, you're leaving now? He says, yeah. He says, well, there's some maniac in front of the house. You're going to run him over. He says, call the cops. I had to call the cops to get him out of here. And I did have to call him because he was totally polluted. I didn't go downstairs. I was observing him upstairs. And he was totally lit. Yeah. I don't even know.
But the point I'm making is that you don't hear. The last couple of nights, I haven't heard that many sirens. And as a result, we also hear that the admissions rates are going down.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Okay. So I can almost tell by listening out the window how bad a day it's going to be the next day when Cuomo does his show. You know,
he had a short one the other day. Me and my mom said it was only like a half hour.
No, he's on every day. He's on every day around.
We watch him every day. We call him our president, Alex, when we sit down. There he is.
He's the next president of the United States. Yes, Rob.
So here's the article. It's in USA Today. Auto insurance companies, including Geico, Allstate, Liberty Mutual, said they're going to give policyholders millions of dollars back because Americans are driving less during Corona. Tuesday, Geico said. Geico said automotive and motorcycle policyholders will receive a 15% credit. The auto insurer estimates the benefits to its customers will be worth about $2.5 billion. Geico cities in shelter places have reduced driving significantly, and they're talking here that they're not even going to cancel policies for those for non-payment.
Wow, that's nice of them.
Well, you know, I think these companies are doing that for one very good reason, and that is if they don't, the government will do it for them, okay? State governments might say, hey, no way you're going to, but like, for instance, here in New York City right now, nobody can be evicted for non-payment of rent.
Oh,
okay?
Really?
Yeah.
Don't have that in Texas.
No, of course not. In Texas, in fact, you pay double. So, yeah.
You get arrested.
It's rough now.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen your governor. He's kind of an ass, isn't he?
Yep.
A major douche. Yeah.
What, Abbott? Abbott, your governor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah. Who was his running mate? Costello?
I bet you do.
I like that. Yeah.
Did you hear the college football coach? Was it Oklahoma, I think, who said, look, we got to get back to playing college. We got to, in May, I want to start getting everybody back and all the students and everything back. These 18, 19, 20, and 21-year-olds can live through this coronavirus. If somebody gets sick, we need to start flowing money back into Oklahoma. Isn't that just fucked up?
They're getting, yeah. They know that's a big money. They want to get paid, yeah.
By the way,
they do that. Yeah. And remember, these kids don't get paid.
No.
No.
But the coach does.
Yeah, like $5 million last year.
Yeah. Screw
well,
him.
It's going to be 4.5 this year because you know they haven't played, and they cut their automobile insurance.
Listen, I got a question, Phil. Have you seen your money yet?
No.
Have you?
Although it said that that they received my application.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you said
yeah, I have like 50, 60 people that are applying for this. I got a Facebook page that is just for owners of my stores. And I don't know, there's probably hundreds on there, but they're all talking about
not
this.
your stores, but this organization you belong to that has the co-op that you're part of.
Yeah,
you made it sound like you had 60 stores.
I was going to say he's like Phil is in the wrong time. The extra raise. Going to his office, not extra raise.
300 of us that own them.
Yeah.
So anyway, the deal is Nobody's seen it yet. Nobody's got any money, and a lot of people weren't even able to get their applications in. I got in within hours of them opening up the link.
Amazing what greed will do for expediency. I like that, Phil.
Well, I want to come out of this with my employees still intact.
Yeah.
And this is a way I can pay them, even though they're not going to be working, because they're hunkered at home. They're at least, the landlord can be made whole. Everybody gets made whole. And that's what this is all about, is not tanking the economy. So I'm doing my part to keep the economy.
Does anybody here have a cleaning woman at all? Somebody comes in and cleans. You do?
Yeah.
Is she still coming in and cleaning, or no?
The liberals have women.
So women, hold on a second, Phil. I'm asking a question here. She didn't come in. Are you still paying her anyway?
No, not.
We are. My friend Shecky's paying the woman who does his place.
That's nice.
Yeah. And ours is once every 2 weeks. His is every week. We felt we had to do it, because we didn't want her to, at least if she was going to suffer, we didn't want to have to be part of that suffering.
I've been tipping like 50%. You go in, you get a sandwich or something to go.
I'm not even going places like that. I don't want to get. I'm afraid to leave the house.
Yeah, I'm like you, Alex. I make my sandwich at home.
Your listeners created a GoFundMe for me.
Really?
Did you see?
No.
Yeah. The prize is I get the coronavirus.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
They're praying to God it gets you.
Yeah, but I just I'm scared to go out, and anytime Marjorie goes out and she says tomorrow, I just got to get out of here and take a walk, and I'm going, please don't. I said, I know it's a terrible thing that we're stuck in here, and what's even worse is we're having some beautiful spring days out there now. And
my mom at the yard today.
How's the pollen?
Yeah, but I mean,
brutal.
But still, you look out the window and you want to be out there. You want to take a walk. I can't even walk anymore. I try to walk around the house here, and my legs are hurting, and it's like, you want to talk about out of shape. And this has been a month now. This is a month now.
In New York, so all the pollen that you have now, it's a good thing that they don't allow anybody to own a gun, because if somebody sneezes, there's going to be a lot of homicides in New York.
Well, wife beating is up.
Yeah.
And it's only going to be a matter of time before this thing starts turning ugly, rather than right now it's everybody singing out their windows, and they're applauding the hospital workers and things like that. In a couple of weeks, they're all going to be going, "Don't talk to me."
Hey,
I don't want dropping their phones. Yeah, they're going to be dropping it soon.
Huh?
I thought all the cops were out sick.
20%.
Yeah, a lot.
Really? Here?
20%. Yeah, New York.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, so if you beat your wife, you'll get away with it now.
I felt really bad. These two cops that were waiting when the woman died here, they were waiting for either the ambulance or the coroner, I think, to come, because the wife was in the apartment dead. And
there's vacancy?
Huh?
How does a vacancy?
Not at my rates. And we liked them. They were really nice, especially him. He's always been nice to me ever since we moved in, and it's just the whole thing, I think, is going to start getting ugly. I give it maybe another week, because even I'm feeling it. I found myself snapping at Marjorie today, and I don't usually do that. You
got to sing.
I love it. I love being home.
I do. I mean, I like being home too, like Rob. I enjoy going to the yard.
It's nice being home. If you got a backyard?
Yeah. I worked outside under the tent, under the awning yesterday.
Yeah, my backyard, I have to go down to the courtyard. And already that's, scares me. because I've got to touch all the handles on the way out, Although I'm
Wear
wearing,
gloves.
I wear rubber gloves.
Yeah.
I got the rubber gloves. I saved the ones my doctor used when he gave me a rectal exam. So
The only thing I miss is baseball.
Yeah, I miss my Yankees.
you know what I feel guilty about? Every time, I used to have a thing, every time I go to the hospital, okay, like to visit a friend who was sick, like when Jack was sick and so on, or I would go there for one reason or another. When the nurse wasn't there, I would steal 2 gloves and take them home with me. It was a tradition with me. And now I feel guilty about it. Because I feel like Schindler. Oh, if I hadn't stolen these 2 gloves, these could be used to save one more life. So.
Hey, did you hear the joke about the woman that was arrested for shoplifting? And she goes to the court, and the judge says to her, "What did you steal?" She says, "I stole a can of peaches." And she says, the judge says, "Well, how many peaches were in the can?" She says, "There were 9 peaches." He says, "Okay, then you're going to get 9 days in jail." And then the husband stood up and he says, "She also stole a can of peas."
Okay. I'm trying to remember the end of this joke, but it was 20 years ago. Johnny Cash was alive. I wish I could remember the whole thing. It was really good. But anyway.
Can you go up on your roof?
I could, but I'm frightened to go up there.
Only to jump.
Yeah. I'm frightened to go up there. It scares me.
It's not finished. It's not like a courtyard up there.
No, it's
19 years old.
Yeah, what do you mean 19 years old? It's 100.
19 years old.
120 years old, that roof.
Yeah, so it should be finished by now.
Yeah.
You would think they would put a little garden up there. A lot of cities, the city apartment buildings do that.
Yeah, well, not our guys. We can barely get them to keep the courtyard going.
They got a sign up there.
Mm-hmm.
Jump. That's the way they raise
this way down.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was this thing I got. Phil will hate this. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to just read part of it. It said, "Why do some people not like Donald Trump?" Nat White, an articulate and witty writer from England, wrote the following response. A few things spring to mind. I'm just going to read a couple of paragraphs here. Trump lacks certain qualities which the British traditionally esteem. For instance, he has no class, no charm, no coolness, no credibility, no compassion, no wit, no warmth, no wisdom, no subtlety, no sensitivity, no self-awareness, no humility, no honor, and no grace. All qualities, funnily enough, with which his predecessor, Mr. Obama, was generously blessed. So far for us, the stark contrast does rather throw Trump's limitations into an embarrassingly sharp relief.
Gee, I thought they were describing me.
But the last line that the last couple of lines that I like here, where was it? Where was this? It was, oh yeah, okay, it says, "And a remorseful Dr. Frankenstein would clutch out big clumpfuls of hair and scream in anguish, 'My God, what have I created?' If being a twat was a TV show, Trump would be a box set."
Yeah. Well, their leader is in the hospital. I guess they're not incubating him, but
Not incubating him?
well, yeah, they stick the thing
Yeah,
down.
they incubate him, and then after about 2 days, an egg hatches and a bird comes out. What? Incubated.
Yeah, ventilate.
Intubate.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's close enough for Trump.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And they haven't incubated him, or intubated him.
Well, Trump made a great deal on incubators, but he didn't get any ventilators. He's sending all the incubators to New York. Yeah.
Now you know how it feels for some comics when they don't get a laugh.
Well, yeah, I got to laugh. You just, we're swallowing it.
Yeah. But anyway,
That's the way you have to think when you're on stage.
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, I was thinking of doing this show in the afternoon for a couple of weeks while this is going on, so that people could all have a place to have something to do during the day. But then I found out that a lot of my regulars found that it was going to be inconvenient for them, so I've decided not to. I might do some anyway and still do the evening show as well, you know.
Yeah. Regulars are going to be out infecting people in the park.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. So,
I don't feel so bad. I go to the office every day. I'm in my office. I'm by myself. The store is locked.
Yeah.
And, I do stuff.
what do you do?
I write up estimates. I follow up on, with phone. I collect money.
Does
That's where you
it,
get the
I'm
gun out.
surprised that
No, you don't
anybody's
play,
willing to
you
let
come
you
with
come
us.
over and install anything.
Well, I got some people installing right now.
But you're not
crazy.
finished.
A lot of the houses we do, they're empty.
Yeah, but I still think, as I told you the other day, that it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
It's not.
I know, but,
because some
you know,
of those homes do have people in them, correct?
But they're not around.
That doesn't matter, Phil. If you have, say,
you put
let's
the
say
floor-
you have an installer and he's not coughing, he's not doing anything, and but he may have it and not be showing signs of it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
and so they, maybe leave something behind, and people come home and they just touch the top of a counter, and then they scratch their nose and they got it.
My carpet guys wear gloves and a mask.
Yeah. Well, that's only because they're trying to rob the place.
Phil's boys, he cleaning us out.
Yes, Jeff.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody today, one of the engineers that I know, and they got a call from Vermont, and they said, we need some equipment, and we can't get it, no matter where the hell we try. And they said, can you get some kind of a breathing device put together? And he goes, you're talking about something that's FDA approved and all of that? He goes, no, I need it like this week.
Scuba tank?
That's what they did.
What?
Right. He went and bought a bunch of 500 scuba equipment
And regulators and
and regulators and and they got their own pump.
uh-huh.
And they're sending them all to Vermont.
That was smart.
And what are they going to do? What are they going to do with them?
They're going to use them for breathing.
Oh, for breathing. Oh,
Yeah.
But for people who have coronavirus and are having a hard time breathing.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why don't they use CPAP machines?
I could sell them. I got two.
Yeah. They have face masks that go over there and they push.
Yeah, they push.
Yeah. And they push a lot of air.
Yeah, they do.
Because the scuba tank, you have to breathe in on your own to make it work. But the CPAP machine, and the CPAP also has a thing where you can add moisture so that they don't dry out.
Right.
I think that would be even a better way to go.
I don't know why nobody has mentioned that or at least considered that as a possibility. While
Well,
it's
call
probably
Donald Trump. I'll let him know.
yeah.
I'd donate mine. They could have them. Charge them.
If I don't sleep with that thing, I don't wake up right. I really need it. What a difference it makes.
Ever since I lost weight, I don't snore anymore.
Me too. It's a big difference.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true. You two guys are svelte now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm putting on a few pounds because I'm not going anywhere. I'm not
I'm
eating
still
much.
losing.
Huh?
Serious losing. I'm still in a serious. Everybody's gaining. They keep saying it that people are putting on the 10, 15 pounds from sitting home.
Yeah.
I'm still dropping.
You're doing the thing where you don't eat. You fast.
Intermittent fasting. Yep.
Uh,
But it's low carb still.
right.
I'm still doing low carb.
Well,
but
I still-
yesterday I didn't
yeah.
eat. What's that?
You're doing 20 hours now.
20 hours? No, I'm doing like I'll do 30 hours.
Really?
So I didn't eat yesterday.
Wow.
But you get used to it. It's just and you know what? I feel freaking amazing.
My nutritionist trying to get me to do that intermittent fasting. She said just start with like 12 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
really works
I
really well. And everything, my skin, I had all kinds of rash. That's all gone.
Wow.
I mean, it's amazing the stuff that's cleared up that I had.
I've been saved.
Well, no, today I didn't eat that much, but I haven't actually been eating that much. But I still feel like I'm getting a little, I don't know. And also, I've got my stomach. If I can say this, I've had the trots for days now. You know, and I think it has something to do with the radiation. You know.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. You know, but I, you know, so
It's gonna last for how long? Like 3 months, the radiation?
no, I got another month, 2 months, and then it dies, just completely disappears. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and I would like to get to the to the place and get my blood tested, and I would love to have my CAT scan and all of that, CT scan, but I'm not gonna go anywhere to do that. I think I'm not going to Mount Sinai. Okay, forget it. You know.
Hey, Franklin Graham's got a place down at the park.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, I mean, it's. I'm not doing that, and I'm not going to Quest Labs. I mean, who knows? And there's, by the way, if you go in early enough in the day, you can, as a senior, you can go in early to Quest Labs. But I don't, you know, I don't want to take that chance. And I mean, chances are nothing's going to happen bad. But I finally told the nurse at my doctor's office, because she's the only one I deal with. The doctor doesn't talk to me; he's too busy. And I said to her, you know something, I know you want. You said, okay, you don't have to do the CT scan now. You can do it in 3 months. But would you do, you know, do the blood test? And initially I said yes, and then I wrote her and I said, I'm even frightened to do that. And she says, then it can wait a couple of weeks until things are, you know, a little better here.
You get a visiting nurse to come over and draw the blood, a phlebotomist?
That's an interesting idea.
It's an interesting idea, yeah. You know, but I'm sure my medical plan won't pay for that. You know?
You never know. You just tell them, look, you know, coronavirus, you're exposing me. I can't do it. The doctor wants this, and
high risk
PSA test. You know, this is cancer, and look, you know, I want the PSA test because I gotta, you know what's going on.
Well, you know, it's an interesting concept. I'll ask Marjorie what she thinks.
I got life insurance one time, and they sent a nurse to my place of business to take blood and do all of that stuff.
Of course, you know, the question is right now, could I find a nurse? You know, I mean, to get any medical care except for the coronavirus is almost impossible right now.
You know, they said that because there are no elective procedures, that there's a ton of nurses and doctors that aren't working right now.
Why would they be working Why wouldn't they be working in the hospital?
They do. I guess the news reports I heard was that nurses and doctors that normally, you know, do other stuff, elective procedures, because they don't have any, and then the hospitals are suffering because they don't have the income from it.
Well, that doesn't make sense though, because they just put out New York put out a plea for medical staff to help.
Yeah. Well, maybe those people aren't showing up because they don't want to get the coronavirus. Alex, he's got it. He's got it.
No, that's it. I know the difference between a cold sneeze and an allergy sneeze.
I bet you do.
And that's an allergy sneeze. You know.
It's going to infect us all.
Yeah. But I mean, all I'm saying is that you know, that idea of the CPAP machines. Who knows? I mean, I don't know why that wouldn't work. If you say that pushes air into your...
Yeah, it does.
Negative pressure?
You could adjust the pressure.
Well, yeah, sort of. But it's negative pressure, and it forces it in either into your nose and your mouth, and it keeps your throat open.
Here's the only reason I think it's a bad idea. Because all the medical people in the world haven't thought of that as an answer. You know, they have there's certain survival tactics they've been using. Like, for instance, anesthesiologists use certain equipment that can be used in place of intubation, and that's the closest I heard of this kind of thing. Now, of course, we have, of course, Trump's cure. You know,
Riboflavin.
yeah, whatever the name of that thing is.
Hydra something with the Z-Pack.
Yeah, you do realize that Trump. Did you send this to me, Charlie? I've seen this in several places today. Trump.
Daddy
Wait a
owns
minute.
it.
Huh? What'd you say, Jeff?
I heard somebody said that he owned.
I've heard all of these things.
No. He is
Yeah.
invested in a fund that has as one of its holdings the company that makes that drug.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he's been pushing it.
I invested in a Fidelity fund that is the Dow Industrial thing, and that's every stock on the thing. So of course I own that stock too.
No, but one of the companies that it is heavily invested in, and that he would benefit from, is this company.
Yeah. Well, you know, you hear a lot of this stuff, but you don't know that it's true. And
I know
said-
that this is true because they had all the particulars on it.
Well, yeah, everybody knows what the stock is and what the company is, except me. You know, so they accuse Trump of eating his young. Come on, you know, you believe these stuff?
I've heard how he feels about his daughter. I'm sure he's tried to eat her any number of times.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about cannibalism, not love.
But you know, all I'm saying is that you know, this giving out this advice, it really got to me the other day because it was so misinformed and the wrong thing to do in this situation, especially to all those people who have lupus who can't get the drug for their lupus and they have to take it on a fairly consistent basis. You've heard these stories, right, Charlie?
He did it again tonight.
Yeah.
Hydrochloroquine?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, close.
And
Bought 29 million doses. So that you know, and he's saying, hey, if it's keeping people with lupus from getting the coronavirus, why not take it? There are
It's
side effects.
for other people too.
because it because it has
the
to,
coronavirus is treating their lupus.
in order to make it work, you have to take an antibiotic, Zithromax, and the combination of the two can give you a heart attack.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I heard that there were no side effects to the hydrochloric.
Wrong.
Wrong.
If you look at the
That is
literature,
bullshit.
heart attacks in combination with an antibiotic can cause a heart attack.
Yeah.
And he is telling you, go see your doctor. Go get this. Get it with a
What have you got to
Zithromax.
lose?
Yeah, I like when he does. What do you got to lose?
Your life.
What have you got to lose? Your life. Your life. It's
Fauci
not-
said that his infection, it wasn't Fauci, it was his infectious disease guy, said that, you know, they just don't have enough data to determine if it's going to work, but they don't know that it isn't going to work.
Oh, by the way, Joseph Gardner writes on our chat here, both CPAP and BiPAP, whatever BiPAP is,
BiPAP's a more powerful one.
well, yes, were mentioned by Cuomo as methods they have adapted to use if needed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think like a Democrat.
No, you think like
You and Andrew Cuomo. Yeah.
yeah. What do
You
you
rubbed off on
what do
him.
you think about Cuomo?
Phil.
No, not Phil. I don't want to talk to you. What the fuck?
Okay.
Tony, what do you think of him?
Me and my mother love him. We like Andrew Cuomo. We watch him every day. And he's a guinea too, so we got a smart guinea there. Usually we're kind of stupid, some of us. Alex.
Yeah, smart guinea.
But actually, I think he is genuine. Like you said, I actually trust him. I like how he assures you of everything.
It isn't a fact. It isn't the point. I mean, Trump
He seems
likes
like
to
a
say, "Well,
decent
I was
guy."
just trying to not panic people." Well, there's a difference between not panicking people and making them say, "You're lying to me. I don't believe it. You're not telling me the truth." In the case of Cuomo, every day he is telling you the truth, and sometimes it's not stuff you want to hear, but he tells you the truth as he knows it. And then when it's an opinion of his, he says, "Now this is my opinion," and up on the screen they put "my opinion."
Yeah, I like the little play-by-play stuff.
Okay.
He does like a PowerPoint presentation.
And there's a PowerPoint presentation that's incredible.
It
I feel
is.
like I'm great again with the thing coming. on
And
the
you
screen.
walk
I
away
like
from
what
it
he said. What are they
going,
doing in the parks?
look, I know we're in trouble here, but I know there's somebody running this state who's doing the best job he can to save my life. And that, I think, is what we need in the leadership in our country. And Trump is one of the most unbelievable people in America, unfortunately. And
You know what I wish they would do,
What?
Alex? Can Joe Biden step down and give it to Cuomo?
Well, I don't think Cuomo wants it, okay, at least at this point in his life. Right now, I think he's more interested in solving this problem than capitalizing on it to become president of the United States.
I think you're going to see a lot of governors in not this election, but in the next 4 years. You're going to see a lot like they're talking great about the governor of Illinois. Lots of these governors.
Well, you
who
know
are
what
gonna
they're
be on
doing,
the
what they're doing.
national stage.
Cuomo went on, just decided every day I've got to do. I think he took a certain clue from what Giuliani did during 9/11, that I've got to go on every day and talk to the people and tell them what's going on. And he started doing it. And then other governors thought, hey, that's not a bad idea. I should do that too. And now you have a whole bunch of governors. I've gone to certain channels like, I think it was
I saw the guy in Boston doing it. He
CBSN,
was-
where they were running just one governor after another, giving his speech for the day. And Cuomo has turned it into something that governors are using as a method of talking to their people.
They have to stick together because they don't have a federal government to help.
Well, they've been told that by the federal
They
government.
don't. The federal government said, "You guys are on your own."
Trump
That's
said that.
what said.
Yes,
Trump
he
said
did.
that he would get them whatever they needed.
Sure. Then you
It's
talk
the
to the
rich-
governors and they get 3% of what they asked for.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I don't know that to be true.
I'm just
I
telling
know
what
you
the
don't know
governors
that to be
said.
true, but
How would the governors lie?
No, they're grandstanding.
no, they're
You know,
not.
even your buddy there in New York, Cuomo, he says, "Well, you tell me if I don't get 30,000 ventilators, which people you're going to choose to die." I mean,
But that's the case.
He did say
That's a reality, Phil.
Do
I
it.
know that if we haven't gotten to that point yet where we need more ventilators than we've got at this point. Now that could happen in the next couple of days, or we may have hit the plateau and it's going to drop off and that won't be needed. But if it gets to that and suddenly I were to come down with this and I'm lying there and there's a guy 40 years old lying there and they got to give one of them the machine, guess who they're giving it to?
the guy who grabs it first.
I've been going to my Big Mac and fries.
So I
This
mean,
is
it
exact-
isn't. You're acting like Cuomo is trying to panic people, and he's not. He's
Yes.
saying this is what we need in order to make sure we have at hand what we need
Unlike the president.
for the worst case scenario.
Unlike
Our
the president, they're listening to the doctors and the science.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
This
Yeah.
will pass.
They
And
push
what the
them
doctors and the
back.
science are saying is that there are no good models to determine how much they need.
So
and how
don't
much.
bother with anything. Is that what you're
So-
saying? They can only go by the numbers that they have.
Yes, but they're not accurate.
Well, so what do you want to do? Just throw it, toss caution to the wind, and just go, here's 3%.
What I want you to do is test people. Now they've done
But they
1.
And why don't we have
Well,
enough
give us
tests
the
in this
test.
country?
They've done 1.8 million tests as of today.
Yeah, out
They're-
of 350 million.
Out of 350 million people, yeah, we're getting there, Phil. We're getting there.
We'll all be dead by the time we get.
We'll all be dead by the time. Yeah, in fact, you'll be 90 by the time they get to the last person with the test.
Half
You're
the
gonna tell me I'm
tests.
already dying. You want to take the test? I'm halfway in the grave.
And people are waiting 5 days to get the results of the tests.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Labs.
Well,
It's 5
let's put it this way: you'll get the test as fast as you're going to get your money from the government. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's it for tonight. Phil, the arguing is over. You don't have to make any points anymore. You don't have to suck Trump dick. No, you can
Yeah.
stop now.
150 billion.
You can stop now. He's come. Okay. All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's it for tonight. I wasn't looking at the clock. I looked over and went, it's over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be back.
Don't have a minute.
Anyway, thank you very much to our citizen panel, which consisted of Rob Alfano and Charles Wallace and Tony and Jeff. And, of course, the lovely and attractive Phil, I'll blow Trump for CPAP machine. I haven't even got you can talk all you want to. I haven't got your mic up. Nobody can hear you. You're just talking into thin air. Everybody, wave goodbye, will you? And I'll wave back goodbye. All right, there they go, ladies and gentlemen. There's our citizen panel for tonight. We'll do it again tomorrow night, too. You know. Why? Because we have to. Anyway, stay tuned now for the next show, which is, of course, The Intersection with Jack Bishop. I'll be back again tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, as always, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.